Video games featuring time mechanics, whether a time loop or a device that lets you manipulate time, have been a growing trend in the gaming world. But some game developers use these mechanics to mess with players in the most creative ways possible. Hi folks, in today's video, we're bringing you 15 games where time mechanics play tricks on you. Starting off with number 15, it's Quantum Break. Leave it to the makers of Max Payne and Control to make their take on time travel stories one of the most insane and hard to explain. In Quantum Break, time is ending. Some freakish accident triggers a fracture in time where everything just stops. Everything and everyone is frozen. Basically, the whole story revolves around this technology, and some people have very personal uses for the time-freezing power. For most of the game, the time-frozen scenes are mostly there for exploration sequences, and they definitely don't feel like normal time-stop scenarios. Everything is kind of crackling and falling apart, and it looks cool as hell, but we're here to talk about the impressive climax, where some guy tries to screw everything up even more and makes time so broken that it vacillates back and forth between going forwards and backwards. There's an entire scenario where sometimes time's moving forward, and then it reverses itself and starts going backwards. It's basically one of those looping scenarios where you have to navigate through a frozen action scene before time reverses itself to throw you into another battle with enemies that can somehow bypass the whole time-freezing thing. I mean, a lot of these games on the list feature one-off time rewinding or time fast-forwarding sequences, but nothing quite compares to this ending, where time both stops and rewinds and plays everything back again over and over. And number 14 is Super Hot. It's tough to explain what's so special about Super Hot if you haven't played it. On the surface, it seems like a weird little chore, a gimmicky first-person shooter disguised as an indie game. Like, surely it's only worth a few minutes of mindless fun. Honestly, if you're probably wondering why it's on the list, it's just a shooter, right? What's so gimmicky or special about it at all? That's if you haven't played it. Play Super Hot and you'll understand it's all about the nature of time. In Super Hot, time only progresses when you move, giving you the power to stop time entirely. It's such a cool feature, and it's exactly the kind of mechanic that opens up all sorts of possibilities for modders. It's not some Max or something, because this one really improved what those games have. If you played Super Hot, just think about what adding this feature would do to other games. You'd essentially create a weird depth of strategy to even the most basic shooter, and without more game, it has to function like a time loop. You restart every time you get shot or fail. Time only resumes with your normal actions, like walking or shooting, so you can stand still and admire the carnage before deciding what to do next. And while the game is only a few hours long, it's more than worth the price of admission.
Wow, man! Are you for real? Stop that. Hey, don't harsh out, dude.
And number 13 is Time Splitters Future Perfect. Before multiplayer arena shooters dominated, split-screen shooters were a blast, and Time Splitters was among the best. Time Splitters Future Perfect, the third and final entry in the series, wasn't revolutionary, but was bursting with creative ideas. Unlike its predecessors, it leaned heavily into a time travel narrative, though it didn't borrow directly from Majora's Mask's cyclical structure. Instead, you follow Sergeant Cortez across various time periods, revisiting key locations like a 1920s mansion, a 1990s subway, and a futuristic robot factory. You don't loop through the same areas repeatedly to unlock new paths with tools. Rather, the story progresses linearly through missions, with time travel mechanics allowing you to interact with past events or characters. The clever twist is that you sometimes team up with past versions of yourself to solve problems, like assisting your earlier self in combat or puzzles to alter outcomes. For example, in one mission, you work alongside your past self to infiltrate a base, creating a cooperative dynamic that feels fresh. The game also throws in wild time travel antics, like planting a bomb in one era that becomes fossilized over millions of years, only to be excavated later to access a new area. These moments, paired with sharp humor and varied gameplay, make the campaign a standout. Time Splitters Future Perfect nails its time travel premise with clever script writing and joins a rare group of games that make time travel genuinely fun. And number 12 is Blueprints. Blueprints is pretty new. It just came out last April of 2025. And while saying that this game is a roguelite, Metroidvania, an adventure game may not make sense, believe me when I tell you that is a powerful combination. You functionally start every day in this game with 50 moves to make it to the mythical and hidden Room 46 of the mansion. The problem is that all the rooms basically connect in different ways. Some of them may give you abilities to continue further, and you will always have to choose between 3 random rooms to continue your journey or otherwise possibly set yourself up for failure. And take note that the mansion is constantly rearranging itself in a different order every day. This game definitely has some superliminal influences in terms of how things work. You'll find yourself in the same room over and over again, sometimes in the same run and sometimes in different runs. You have to find keys to open certain rooms, you have to find gems to unlock certain rooms, and figuring out how to do a lot of these things often is important towards your progress. You'll find different means to move yourself along. Blueprints is a novel experience in part because of the inclusion of something like a board game mechanics to control and your progression. It requires that you actually know how to play the game, but it's also adversarial. I don't know how to properly explain it better than to say enter a roguelite Metroidvania adventure game and keep those expectations in mind. You may be confused by weird, funky stuff for a little while there, but seriously, this game is great. Coming in next at number 11, we have the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. The Stanley Parable isn't a time loop game, but the meta loop of resetting after each ending makes perfect sense as a clever commentary on the illusion of choice and the pitfalls of video game narrative. The allure of resetting to start fresh and discover multiple endings is tempting. The titular narrator even mocks the idea at times, but the narrative rewinding elements here aren't really there for game-changing effects like normal time loop games. Resetting in this game doesn't progress your story. It'll always hit the same beats if you make the same choices, giving you the illusion of choice to follow the narrator or disobey. The story only changes when you change what you do in the loop, and when you reach any sort of ending, the game resets back to the beginning. Despite this, the Stanley Parable is strangely addictive and compelling, urging you to try every possible choice to see how the story organically changes. However, the main hook of the game is the reset. You're supposed to stop playing. But for some reason, the Ultra Deluxe version adds a new ending called Skip Button, which drags the narrator out of the game, placing you in a room with a button that skips the lengthy diatribes, breaking the game piece by piece, year by year, until the narrator's gone and the room's destroyed. The skip button mechanic supports the game's core themes of player agency, narrative control, and meta-commentary on sequels and player expectations, making it a significant part of the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe's point. The Stanley Parable is like the yin to the time loop genre's yang, offering a clever commentary often missing from more straightforward narratives while lacking the emotional connection. Now moving to number 10, it's 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Some games have tricky stories, but this one's in a league of its own. The game weaves together 13 different stories, each following a different character. You can jump between them in any order, making choices that slowly peel back the layers of a massive, mind-blowing plot that includes stuff like time travel. But talking about the time travel twist before mentioning the giant mechs called Sentinels is like skipping the best part of the movie. This game is bonkers. All the characters think they know what's going on, but they're dead wrong about everything, even what time travel really means in this story. Eventually, they figure out they're all trapped in a virtual reality world, like a super advanced video game designed to mimic what Earth was like after a huge disaster wiped out almost everything. The big twist? The characters are living inside simulation pods on a space colony far from Earth, trying to rebuild a version of human life. When the Sentinel mechs battle these monster-like creatures called Deimos, they're actually fighting to protect the virtual city inside this fake world. The Deimos are like a computer virus trying to wreck the simulation, and the characters have to uncover the truth to keep their world from falling apart. It's not your typical story. You've got teenagers piloting mechs, fighting monsters, dealing with body swaps, jumping between different worlds, and bouncing across 5 different time periods, all of which are fake, part of a wild, looping virtual reality. It's like a story that mixes World War II vibes with a far-future sci-fi flick, and it's as confusing as it sounds. The plot isn't just complicated, it's built to mess with your head. It takes what you think you know about futuristic tech and twists it into a whirlwind of lies, secrets, and surprises. By the end, you'll be scratching your head trying to piece it all together, and that's what makes it so unforgettable. At number 9 is Life is Strange. Max's rewind mechanic is more about solving puzzles than changing everything, but it's a neat little feature that adds to the emotional storytelling. It doesn't create a Groundhog Day situation. Instead, it lets you loop through time on your own terms. If you don't like a conversation option or made the wrong pick, you can just rewind it like you're using a DVR and try again. It creates these little micro loops you can repeat, which really affects the story of Life is Strange. You can make Max keep her power a secret, or if you choose to reveal it, you'll just loop back to the start and cover it up. At one point, Max can steal money from a school office or choose not to. While each choice progresses the story, you can actually choose to take the money, then rewind to still get the money and have an added impact on the story. And this game really makes you feel the weight of your choices. There are moments when Max is crying and you can't help but want to rewind and make a better choice. The only downside is that Max is a regular character living in a story-heavy game, so she doesn't always remember everything you say or do, making the time travel feel a bit off sometimes. But her power to loop through the important parts of the story is pretty well done. This mechanic is so effective that I think no other game has done. Moving on to number 8, it's Oxenfree. This one takes the whole time loop idea and gives it a seriously creepy twist, before time loops became the trendy gimmick every indie game wanted a piece of. You play as a teenager named Alex, who heads to an island with her friends for what's supposed to be a chill night. Spoiler, it's not. Weird radio signals start messing with time and space, and you end up caught in a supernatural mess that only gets weirder the deeper you go. The game mixes smart, natural-sounding conversations with spooky exploration. It's kind of like if Stranger Things had a baby with a choose-your-own-adventure book. And get this, the dialogue system actually lets you interrupt or talk over people in real time, which sounds rude, but it makes the conversations feel super real. The choices you make? They matter, and not just in obvious ways. As things unravel, you find out the island is haunted by ghostly echoes of sailors from a World War II submarine that was involved in a freak radio experiment gone wrong. Yeah, the ghosts are stuck, and they're trying to drag you into their time loop too. Your only defense? An old-school radio that lets you tune into other dimensions and uncover clues. The mystery unfolds bit by bit, not all at once, so you're always just a little off balance, wondering what's real. And once you finish the game, here's where it gets wild. If you replay it, your character might remember things from your previous playthrough. Like the game itself knows you're stuck in a loop, and the characters start to act like they know it too. It's subtle, creepy, and incredibly well written. You're not solving puzzles as much as you're navigating relationships and making choices that affect how everything plays out. It's like a haunted interactive teen drama, but smarter than it sounds. Why is it so great? Because it takes a high-concept idea, ghosts, time loops, alternate realities, and makes it feel intimate, personal, and real. The writing? Some of the best in narrative games, and if you like games that reward multiple playthroughs, Oxenfree absolutely nails it. At number 7, it's 12 Minutes, which is famous for its time loop. The game was clearly an attempt to channel point-and-click adventure games into a replayable, loopable structure, and it's ambitious. The basic premise is simple. You step into the shoes of a husband trapped in a 12-minute loop where a cop knocks at the door, arrests your wife, and you get caught up in the mess. But unlike a straightforward adventure game, 12 Minutes allows you to explore countless possibilities. Bashing the cop's head in, hiding in the closet to spy, getting into a brawl, or drugging your own wife are all choices, even if some of them are pretty terrible ones. For the first couple of hours, the game has a compelling hook, with small discoveries that really do make you feel like you're making progress. The problem is, once you're solving one mystery, more pop up, and the rules of this microscopic time loop aren't always consistent or clear, which can make the second half of the game frustrating. Our protagonist is a bit too limited. He's not very curious or helpful, especially when compared to the equally time-looping passengers in Outer Wilds, which we're going to be talking later. 12 Minutes makes solving its puzzles awkward. Its mix of interactive, slow-paced character interactions with the adventure game kitchen sink design, which throws in everything from various choices to complex puzzles, means you have a lot of possible things to try, but only one solution that really works, and that can make progressing through the second half of this game a pretty gigantic slog if you're not looking it up. And number 6 is the Sexy Brutale. This one's a little bit different from the other games we've talked about so far, mostly because the time looping is a core mechanic that you actively manipulate. You get stuck in a loop, forced to replay the same day over and over while observing strange events. The Sexy Brutale is part puzzle, part narrative adventure, and it's also a relatively short game with a unique art style. You play as Lafcadio Boone, a retired priest attending the infamous annual masked ball at the casino mansion called the Sexy Brutale. But things go terribly wrong when the guests, who are usually the stars of the show, start getting bumped off one by one. The whole place is in an endless cycle where the same sequence of events repeats, leading to the guests' untimely deaths. So it's up to you to save them by figuring out how to change the course of these events. You're trapped in the same time loop, and your goal is to solve the puzzles, save the guests, and break the cycle before it resets. It's like a dark mix of a murder mystery and Groundhog Day. But unlike Bill Murray, you're not just reliving the day for no reason. You're actively trying to alter the outcome. As you progress, you learn a little more about what's causing this loop and what exactly you're supposed to do beyond saving these guests. Is it a curse, a nightmarish time anomaly, or something else? It's probably something else. Let's be serious, the answers might be hidden in the complex plot. The twist at the ending doesn't just change everything, it recontextualizes the entire story and reveals the true motivations behind the time loop. But we can't say more than that without spoiling it. Let's just say there are multiple layers to this peculiar narrative. It's more than just a puzzle-solving murder mystery. Now moving to number 5, we have The Forgotten City. This was originally a mod for Skyrim, but now a full-fledged game on its own. It pulls off the time loop idea with an intriguing premise and an engaging mystery tied to ancient Roman mythology. You start off by getting washed downstream in a river, and you meet a mysterious stranger who's searching for someone else who got lost. Your task is to find the missing person and unravel the enigma of the underground city, a city where breaking the golden rule will turn everyone to gold. The question is, what's the actual golden rule? The city's leaders are involved in the mystery, but it's a mysterious voice that sends you back in time to the morning of the city's final day, giving you the chance to prevent its destruction by figuring out what's going to break the golden rule. In the Forgotten City, investigating, interacting, and solving the mystery takes center stage. You're in a time loop, sure, but the real challenge is unraveling the layers of your investigation to rewrite history and save the city. And it's a serious mystery game. By the end, we were all using a pen and paper to keep track of everything, trying to piece together the identity of the golden rule breaker. There are twists, secrets, and morally complex decisions, and it's all tied to the larger puzzle of stopping the city's destruction. You get 4 pretty different endings depending on how you approach everything. The best ending, which requires solving every secondary mystery, actually gives you answers to all those nagging questions. Next up at number 4, one of my favorite games, we have Returnal. After a lot of games, you're probably getting sick of the words time travel or time loop or whatsoever, but stick with us because we're heading into some of our coolest picks before wrapping this up, and Returnal is up there with the best of these. Returnal is a straightforward answer to the question, what if Hades was a more traditional third-person shooter instead of a twin-stick one? You have a rapid-fire loop with short bursts of action before you're sent back to the start, often with some tangible progress made, but not quite enough to make you feel safe. This 2021 game from the makers of Resogun delivers impressive bullet hell shooter gameplay, complete with randomization, perks, and plenty of roguelike elements. But what truly sets Returnal apart is its story. You play as an astronaut who crashes on an alien planet ravaged by a mysterious disaster. As you explore, you find recordings from previous explorers who look just like you, only to die and find yourself back at the beginning. This loop isn't just a gameplay mechanic. It's woven into the story itself. From the start, you're aware that you're trapped in a time loop, but the mystery of why it's happening and what's at stake unravels slowly. The loop impacts the protagonist as much as it does us. We, the players, relive the same scenarios, get punished for mistakes, and push through the often unforgiving gameplay. But the story hints at something more. This loop is personal. The game's fragmented memories and recordings reveal a life before the crash, a family, a child, things lost to the loop. The drive to escape blends gameplay progression with these emotionally charged moments, blurring the line between player and character. While there's no traditional dialogue between characters, Celine's inner monologue and the audio logs give the narrative depth. making it emotionally engaging. The lack of clear answers makes the mystery even more compelling. Returnal masterfully captures the bittersweet nature of its time loop premise, making it one of the most immersive entries on this list. And down to number 3 is Deathloop. Deathloop is kind of the anti-Returnal. Both games surfaced near the end of the COVID lockdowns, and they share a lot in common. Story-driven experiments with roguelike elements, AAA publishers stepping into indie territory, and both games are bold tests of new ideas in non-traditional structures. However, where Returnal was emotionally gripping, Deathloop is all about style, charm, and black comedy. While time loops often evoke a sense of futility and dread, Deathloop leans into the fun of it. After all, being stuck in a time loop essentially means unlimited lives, a pretty thrilling concept that the game really runs with. You play as Colt Vaughn, an amnesiac who wakes up on a beach on the strange, isolated island of Black Reef. Your mission? Kill a bunch of elite targets called Visionaries within a single day to break the loop. Fail, and the day resets. The loop is divided into 4 time periods, morning to evening, each influencing who's where and what's happening, adding strategy to every decision. But Deathloop doesn't just lean into its core gimmick, it goes all in. Instead of a linear narrative, you replay the day, gradually unlocking powers, learning new intel, and exploring the island to engineer the perfect kill order. Sometimes Visionaries cross paths, and if you follow the right clues, you can line them up for a 2-for-1 takedown. That's the heart of the game. It even has a Metroid Prime-style log that tracks discoveries, uncovers secrets, and helps piece together the mystery of the island. The roguelike progression is there too, combined with slick, Dishonored-style action that gives you true freedom. Whether you're a stealth ghost or a chaos machine, with powers like teleportation and telekinesis, every run feels dynamic, and the 70s aesthetic gives it flair. The game balances serious stakes with playful experimentation, letting you die and try again endlessly until you crack the code. But it's not all style and sandbox. There's Juliana, the other looper, who's just as stuck and twice as dangerous. Her vendetta against Colt adds a personal edge and narrative weight that deepens the mystery. To break the loop, you've got to take out all the Visionaries in a single day. Each reset isn't failure. It's a fresh chance to refine your plan and uncover more about Black Reef, Juliana, and yourself. It's a brilliantly designed gameplay loop, pun fully intended, and Deathloop is one of the most compelling games in the genre. Coming to the second spot on this list, we have The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Before the time loop buzz from Outer Wilds hit the scene, Majora's Mask stood tall as the quintessential time loop game. With Nintendo at the helm, it's no surprise that their take on the mechanic came wrapped in whimsical charm, layered over a haunting sense of melancholy. When you first land in Termina, those 3 days stretch endlessly. The world feels massive, brimming with secrets and people following tight schedules. That clock in the corner, a looming reminder that everything's about to reset. But Link is still the hero, and the loop isn't just about retrying. It's about learning. You don't weaken the Skull Kid over time. Instead, you master the cycle itself, using each loop to unlock tools, complete quests, and set the stage for the final showdown. This structure makes Majora's Mask unique. It's not instant gratification, it's about precision, observation, and timing. Which is why those side quests, like the Rancher's Alien Standoff or Anju and Kafei's Bittersweet Reunion, hit so hard. They're personal, often missable, and feel more intimate than the main story. Majora's Mask may come from serious gaming royalty, but some of its inspirations are delightfully weird. And while other time loop games, like Anachronox, never quite nailed it, Majora's Mask endures. It gives us a living world to decode, lets us carry progress through key items and knowledge, and makes us feel like heroes caught in a beautifully tragic loop we can finally master. And finally, down to number 1, we have Outer Wilds. When we talk about time loop games, Outer Wilds hits all the right notes. It's got that mix of wonder, discovery, and emotional depth that makes it so special. And I would say truly one of the best games of 2019. You play as an astronaut exploring a small starry solar system caught in an endless loop. The loop isn't just a gimmick, it's central to your mission, to uncover the secrets of an ancient alien race before the universe ends in a supernova. As the clock ticks, you're piecing together mysteries, solving ancient puzzles, and slowly unraveling a storyline that's as intriguing as it is bittersweet. What makes Outer Wilds so brilliant is that each loop is a chance to learn, and those lessons let you carry forward even if everything else resets. You uncover secrets, gain new insights, get better at flying your ship through asteroids, alien ruins, and planets with wacky physics that change over time. Every loop feels like an opportunity to explore what you never saw before, while slowly making progress on the important stuff. It's got a Metroid Prime vibe, but without the weapons. You're not blasting aliens, you're solving puzzles, deciphering cryptic messages, and digging into the lore of a long-lost civilization with mind-bending tech. Your journey feels like true exploration, and that's why the loop never gets old. The only gripe I have is that one audio clip starts to wear thin, but whatever. You learn something new or piece together the mystery with each reset. And when you finally reach the end, it's not a pat on the back. It's another twist that deepens everything. Solving the puzzle doesn't stop the loop, but understanding it reframes the entire journey. Outer Wilds pulls you in with a sense of discovery, hooks you with its unraveling mysteries, and leaves you thinking about what persisted beyond the loop, the lessons you learned, the connections you made, and the memories you keep. It's not just a game, it's an experience. And it's definitely the best time loop game, probably ever, if we're being really honest. It's hard to beat it at its own game, and the fact that the time loop is a mechanic, not just a plot device, is exactly why it deserves our #1 slot in this video. I've got a bonus for you. It's Titanfall 2's time travel level. No time loop list would be complete without a special mention of one of the best video game levels of all time. It's such a fan favorite that we've avoided talking about it in too many older videos because we want to keep it special. The time travel level that literally does a time loop through a facility where you have to switch between when it was happening and when an ultimate shutdown was occurring is phenomenal. Again, it's a total gimmick level. That's why it's a bonus. It's just that one level, but it almost inspires feelings of jealousy that it can't be a whole game by itself. It's game design perfection. And as you can see, you go through giant combat scenarios and switch between the past and present multiple times in the middle of shootouts. It's one of the best examples of a gimmick level we've ever seen, and as a bonus, it's an exciting way to end the video. And these aren't the only games with time loops or time manipulation. There are plenty. What games did we miss? Let us know in the comments, and if you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos almost every day. Subscriptions, of course, will bring them right to your subscription feed. Also, don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, we thank you very much for watching this video.